Hi there, this is Professor Innes again, and you are now about to finish your last module on epistemology. So we've done quite a bit on epistemology. We've done Descartes, Locke, and now we're going to do George Berkeley. Now, with epistemology, as we've understood, we are philosophers who are looking at the problem of knowledge. And again, as we need to restate this, that the mind is detached from the external world. It is not in contact with the external world, yet it claims to know about that external world and constantly makes knowledge claims. So Descartes has dealt with that problem, and as we clearly understood, he failed drastically. Locke, with his rather skeptical view, has said we've got probable knowledge based upon our sense experience, but again, it is just probable. It is the case that what I perceive is probably true, but I'm not certain about it. So for us philosophers, that is not good enough. Now Berkeley comes along and he directly refers to Locke and says that this rather skeptical view is not good enough. We philosophers want certain knowledge. So what Berkeley attempts to do is provide an argument which says that we in fact do have certain knowledge. Now keep in mind as well that Berkeley is still, like Locke, an empiricist and relies upon sense experience. Yet he argues that when it comes to knowledge, we are gaining our sense experience from the external world by all means, but that sense experience creates an idea in the mind, and it's that idea which we perceive. It's not the outside world we perceive directly, but it's that idea. So if you smell the rose, then it is the case you have an idea of a rose that smells. We've got no proof whatsoever that we were actually smelling what's out there. Now, fair enough, the rose is creating a cause and effect relationship, but the smell itself is an idea. Likewise, when we see something, again, we're seeing an idea. It is the case that the outside world has created or stimulated something we're seeing, but we've got no guarantees whatsoever that that thing we're seeing is on the outside world. And in fact, Berkeley just basically goes out and say here, we're not seeing the outside world, we're seeing the idea in our mind. So that goes through all the five senses. So as long as that's understood, then you understand George Berkeley. And you'll have the videos to watch, and the reading to go through. And I think from popular culture we've got the Punisher video, whereby he's psychologically torturing somebody by giving them the idea, not literally, the idea that he is using a torch, a blowtorch, hot blowtorch, to rub against his back, whereas really he's using the ice lolly to rub it against his back. So the person who's been punished here has the idea in his mind, which is created by the Punisher, that the feeling is in fact the blowtorch, the red hot blowtorch, whereas really it's just the ice lolly, but it's the idea that counts. And from that, the Punisher here can torture him and get the information from him. And in fact, the person's not being harmed, or at least physically not harmed. Mentally, I don't know what his state of mind would be after that. But the Punisher is a good example of Berkeley's argument, that all we have are ideas in the mind. And from that, we're not quite sure what knowledge is, because we saw from the Punisher that he thought he was being burned by a red-hot torch, gas torch, but really it was the ice lolly that was against him. Right, so watch that particular episode and think in that way, that all we have are ideas in the mind. Likewise with the other videos, they're very helpful. Keep in mind as well that these videos are plucked from hundreds of different videos, and they are helpful. They've been checked to make sure that they're accurate. Okay, so I'm going to stop there talking about George Berkeley's idealism, and you've had a good insight here, good inroad towards epistemology overall. So the journal entry for this week is going to be you thinking of one case in your personal experience where the idealist argument would be useful to describe what had happened. So I could say here, again, picking on Boise State football team, that lots of people have the idea that Boise State football team is a good football team, but they have it as an idea, and that idea has been created by local news, local television coverage, talking to local people about them as a football team. But yeah, we'll say to ourselves, out there in the big wide world, are they in fact a great football team? Again, this is controversial to do that, but there are lots of other more controversial examples out there. I think this is one of the less controversial ones to pick on at the moment, but I'll leave it to you in that sense. So is Boise State a great football team out there in the world, independent of our mind, or is it just an idea in the mind? So I'll let you discuss your particular example. That's my example. And again, give a full discussion of this, please. You're doing that already. Just a reminder to keep up with this, please. And I will make that reply to you. You're going to initially put forward your entry, then I'll make a reply, and then you make this reply here. So make sure that this reply to my reply is a good substantial one, please. Okay, give a good discussion of it. Thank you, with your example. Okay, again, let me know if you need anything, need any advice on anything. Something's not going right with the Blackboard system, anything, do please let me know. Okay, thanks again, and speak to you soon. Bye bye.